Maybe 2 months ago said, Sam, can you MC this event? I said, Marlon, sure, I'll do it. He told me the theme was celebration, and he told me you have a lot to celebrate. And I was like, yeah, I guess so. I have a couple things to celebrate. And so I pulled out my iPhone, went on notes, and started writing all the things down that I thought I could celebrate. And after writing down about 15, 20 different things, some of them small, some of them big, I came to this realization that, yes, the achievements and the goals and the accomplishments, they were a part of it and they were great. But I realized that every single one of them was attached to a person. Every goal that I had was because of someone else in my life. I got into speaking because I stumbled across Marlon. I got into Grand Slam because Rena, this lady, wouldn't keep bugging me and sending me thousands of emails. I did it to Next Talk because my friend Blake was kind enough to make an introduction. Almost all the achievements and goals in our lives, if we trace back far enough, we can attach them to people. And so instead of celebrating our accomplishments and goals, and I'm sure we all will, I want to instead flip the script and say, let's celebrate the people, not just the achievements.
All right. I need it real loud if you can, without blowing up the speakers. All right. Can we go a little higher, Selecta? A little higher. A little higher. It's reggae music. All right. White Boston, that's sad. Oh, we met, yeah. You're playing smart, but not being clever. I said you're working iniquity to achieve vanity, but the goodness of my God endureth forever. So if you are looking to me, yes, I am the small axe. Come on, get with that. Ready to cut you down, yes, ready to cut you down, yeah.
Surrounded by like-minded students, my teachers who are very supportive, and ultimately I'm in a very productive environment, which has, I guess, kind of reignite my love for art. Also last month, finally got to move into my own apartment, which was, very exciting. So I can finally say I've moved into independence.
A little bit about your musical journey. I do have it ready. I wasn't sure whether you wanted to.
So why don't we just tell them just a little bit? We don't have to go into the full detail, but I think it's really important that they know, and I'm here with you to support you.
Yes.
Let them know who you were a year ago, because a year ago from where you are today, you're in college today.
Yes.
But they had no idea who you were a year ago. So let's just take them back a little bit to that place a year ago.
Well, actually, let's start, I guess, 2 years ago.
Let's go 2 years.
2 years ago, I left home with $300 and a bag of clothes. And started off at the shelter, spent a month there, and from there I spent 2 years at the transitional house, Jackie's place. I've worked 4 jobs, started volunteering, and after a year volunteering there, they hired me onto their team. And ever since then, I've worked to complete my high school through their in-school program, growth school, got my volunteer credits done, got a whole bunch of different certificates to get myself employed, and just been working since then to get myself into my own apartment and get myself into college.
Have you ever felt invisible? Have you ever felt alone, even when you're surrounded by people? Have you ever felt that you're not living the life that you were meant to live? I always knew that I was meant to do great things, that I was meant to be in the spotlight. But when you've been told to quiet down over and over, told to dim your light, it changes you. I felt invisible and unworthy.
I toss and turn at night. I mess my sleep up, I just can't get it right. I'm reminiscing all across July. We went through trials and tests, but we stuck through it till our best. And pray that God would do the best. Now I lay me down to sleep. Praying for my soul to keep sedated by your love so sweet. I wrote this song last night in my dreams. Girl, don't die so deep in my sleep, thinking of you. Only you. You alone are on my mind. You alone my soul finds. Whoa.
But imagine if people, and we treat people however we feel to based on how we feel. And so imagine if all of these experiences that we all share, that's the craziest thing. I don't know any of you, but these are all my experiences. And that's why I'm saying that I can look at you and you may look completely different. We're not even the same gender, but we connect through experience. So beyond what our eyes can see, you and me, we have a connection. And when we get to that level of life, where our eyes are just to make sure we don't bump into a post, but we seek vision. We want to look into people and see where we connect so we can build something great. That's when I know that this world is really going to change. And it starts with everybody in this room, not just some of us, all of us. And a lot of times we hold on to our problems like they're ours. And I'm here to tell you, look at that. You guys hold my problems. So it isn't about me. And it also is not about you either. Your problems, you're selfish to think you're the only person that has those problems. We are all connected through that. And I encourage you, walk into a room and imagine that everyone in the room has a digital billboard. And on the billboard, there's at least one experience that they've had in their life that connects you to you can feel it as well. You would show up differently if we all wore those experiences on our chest. I would treat you like crap if I knew that you've been bullied or you've been whatever financial struggles. I wouldn't. I would say I'm here to help. How can I help you? I love you. I love you just for who you are.
For the longest time in my life, I believed in the idea of the perfect situation. I believed that in order for me to feel happy, in order for me to feel like my life was on the right path to success, I believe that everything's needed to be perfect. And I applied this mindset to pretty much every aspect of my life. Until one day, I came to the realization that I would never find myself in the perfect situation. You see, the perfect situation, so I was thinking to myself, what if I turned down this opportunity 2 years ago because it wasn't perfect? Would I still progress in my career the way that I wanted to? Would I still be here in Ajax at MARSTalk tonight with all of you sharing my story? Absolutely not. So, do I believe that there's a perfect situation for all of you here tonight? No, I don't. But I do believe there's a right one. And if we're willing to put in the work, then I believe we can work ourselves into the right situation. So we don't need things to be perfect. But what we need is for the universe to give us a chance. What we need is an opportunity. What we need is a place to stand. And if you can find yourself a place to stand, then I promise you will find yourself a place to sit. Thank you all so much.
In this space are familiar with unlearning old habits, breaking old habits, and starting anew. So I had to tell myself that I can do this. Went to good old Long McQuaid and got some equipment. And I recorded this very song in my basement. Yes. Yeah, and I am here to share with you and tell you that if you want to dream a new dream, that's great. But there's nothing wrong with dreaming an old dream. So with that being said, here I am. Here's my song, Speak. Let's do it. The song is about relationships and transparency. I've been in a relationship for 8 years, and I'm not the same girl I was then. We grow. You can take it in, you can rock, Yeah. I'm so mad that we're like this. All we're doing is fighting when all we really need is some transparency. Oh, I thought we were both in this. Why is it none of my business? If there's something I can't see, give me the honesty you owe me. And if there's something you need, open your mouth and really tell me. Don't lie, don't hide it. Don't wanna look up and see you drifting further from me when it's so simple. If you need more from me, I don't read minds, tell me. I just need you to speak.
Quick story with you guys. Just like Sam says, you know, the people in our lives are the ones that connect us to our memories and the things that we do. We need to celebrate those people. The first person I want to celebrate is my 3-year-old son. So I have 3 sons, and my youngest has been trying to potty train. So it's I'm in my room, and I hear, "Daddy, I'm done." So I walk in, I'm like, "Lincoln, did you?" "Yeah, you did. Good job, buddy. Good job." And, you know, being 3 still, I have to, you know, wipe for him. So I say, "Lincoln, are you finished?" He says, "Yes." "Are you sure?" He says, "Yes." So I grab a piece of paper, fold, go down, go to wipe. At the moment, he decides he's not done yet. He drops the deuce right on my thumb. As soon as that happens, I go, "Ah!" Literally scared the crap out of me. I wish this was a pun, because he literally got scared that I yelled and jumped off the toilet seat and left a little bit of spray everywhere. So he looks at me, looks at poop on my hand, looks at the poop on the toilet, and turns to me and says, "Dad, you still love me?" "Yes, I do." I celebrate, so he's potty trained now. So I celebrate that win. The second win that I want to celebrate, so last night I drove my parents. My parents are immigrants from Vietnam. They fled the Vietnam War and came here. This is their 40th year in Canada. They've been in Canada longer than they were in Vietnam, which is nuts. And I drove them to the airport last night so they can go back home and visit family. And growing up, my parents being immigrants, we were poor. My parents didn't have the education. They didn't know anyone. They worked a lot. My dad worked 2 jobs growing up, so we didn't have a very, you know, great relationship. It was distant, and I can probably count on like 2 fingers how many times I've ever hugged my dad and told him I love him. And I've been going through a bit of a transition this year, and you know, a big part of that is gratitude. So I'm so thankful for Marlon for having this celebration event. And when I dropped my parents off yesterday, opened up the trunk, got their luggage out, I hugged my mom. I love my mom. I'm a mama's boy. And like the first time in like 18 years, I gave my dad a hug. And it was very nice. And I just wanted to take that moment to celebrate them.
At the age of 7, I remember being on stage, sitting on a piano bench, ready to perform in my first festival competition, the Kiwanis Festival. I knew my sonatina in G major so well, I was ready to compete. I sat at the piano bench, I looked up, and I saw hundreds of parents staring at me. Silence. And that's when I realized I was scared. I couldn't believe where I was. But I put my hands on the keys and I froze. actually forgot what I was playing. That was my first experience with defeat. And year after year, my parents pushed me to participate in that same Kiwanis festival. And year after year, I would freeze. I never finished my song, let alone place first, second, or third. I couldn't even remember my music. And yet at home, I knew it well. And when I was 16, I said to my parents, this is it. I am no longer performing. This is my last time trying to get to this festival and trying to at least remember my song. And my dad pulled me aside. He said, Gabby, what do you want out of this? And I said, I just want to remember the song on stage and not freeze. And he said, so why are you so concerned about winning? I said, well, that's what a competition is. And he said, no, celebrate the wins. If you want to finish your song, then that has to be your goal.
Look at them shoes, baby! You like the shoes? You like the shoes? Everybody like the shoes? It's amazing what I've heard tonight. Absolutely amazing. From the speakers to the singers, even those who were sponsors. Each one came up here and shared a story. And I always say to myself, we all have stories. The problem is, far too often, with those scary, those mad, those sad, those embarrassing stories, we often throw them in the back of our minds, take the key, lock them up, and throw the key away. You know why? Because we don't want anybody else to hear those. Or more importantly, we don't want to hear ourselves. Right? So I want to thank everybody who was vulnerable enough to come up here and to speak and to share their pains, their sorrows, everything, openly to all of you. So why don't you give everybody who spoke here tonight a round of applause. Because in that moment, I made a man feel invisible. Like everyone else who had come before me, who had overstepped him and undervalued his humanity. I asked myself, was I any different? Many years ago, my mother and my father taught me the golden rule, to love thy neighbor as thyself. Yet here I was, prejudging and predisposing this man. Why? Simply because he didn't look like me, didn't dress like me, didn't act like me, or maybe it was that I was just too busy. But for whatever reason, I took him for granted. And what's even worse is that I didn't even take the moment to realize or to recognize why he made his residence on that 6x4, 4x6 slab. What was his dreams? What was his desires? What was his pains? What was his sorrows? What was his anguish? I never took a moment to even find out. And you may turn around and say, man, that's a bum. No, that's a human being.
Yes.
I want you to look around the room today. Look around. Because you know what I see? I see a mural of majestic magnificence. Each and every one of you, different in color, creed, in religion. You and all of us have come here today, forged together, because we believe that we are all visible. We are all human beings. We are all here for a reason. And we don't need to be made like that old man. Because when you feel like that old man, you feel invisible. You feel like no one cares. You feel like the world has just stomped on you. And it's wrong.